Hey fellow crafters, today we're going to make a Halloween wreath, and pretty much here's all the materials you need. We're going to start with some of the popsicle sticks, and we're going to cut them in half, and then we're going to cut each length in half again, and then we're going to make them look like a picket fence. So I'm just taking the X-Acto knife and then clipping off the ends of each piece to make it look like a picket. So all together, we're going to need about 10 of these, and I'm just finishing up right here. Then we're going to take some of this black acrylic paint, and we're going to paint all the sides with the black. I did go back over it because the acrylic wasn't covering it well, and I took some black chalk paint and gave it a second coat, and the black chalk paint worked a lot better. So you might just want to start with that instead. Okay, we're going to set those aside to dry, and we're going to take one of the Dollar Tree wreath forms and some nautical rope, and we're going to start wrapping it around. This is kind of like the Tree of Life one. We're just going to wrap it until we get to the end. And here it is completed. It took, I think, 3.5 of the nautical ropes to get the complete thing covered. And don't worry about that little part right there. It'll be covered up. So I got this black branch wreath from Temu. It was actually a wreath, but I took it apart and made individual trees out of it. You have to, it's wired so you can just like bend them. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking each individual tree, and it's got a little wire on the bottom. So I'm sticking it into the rope, the nautical rope, and then just gluing some of the branches down. And if it's too much, then you can just cut it off like I just did there, and then just glue the branches down and then continue along. See, this was a part that was a whole big branch of it, so I'm just cutting it apart and using the individual branches. So now that we have our trees positioned, we're going to start putting our picket fence together. We want to make it look, dilapidated. I put the white so you can see what I was doing instead of the black. So we take our first cross, and we're just going to start gluing them down. I started with the one in the middle so we could pretty much, just measure it by eye to see where we are. And I'm kind of making them look crooked. Now we're going to just put the other cross piece on, flip it over. So we have our one half done. Now we're going to work on the second half. We want them to be able to be glued together. So we'll take that, glue it down, glue that down, and then it holds up. And we're just going to keep going with the pickets, putting them on the back. I think it worked out to about 10. But you always have extra just in case. Then we're going to measure it and put it on the back. Now we're going to kind of place this on the back. We want to measure it up, make sure that the bottom of the fence is on the bottom of the wreath. And we're just going to hot glue it to the back. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to try to get our glue gun underneath and just give it a little bit of extra hold right there. Now that we have our picket fence on the back of our wreath, we're going to take some cardboard, just an Amazon box or whatever you have laying around, and we're just going to cut some squares and round off the top to make them look like tombstones. We're going to take some gray and black paint, mix it together, and then give every side a good coat with the mixture to make it look dirty and aged and old. And then we're going to take some moss and we're going to start gluing it to the bottom of the wreath. As I was putting the moss on, I realized that the sides looked a little bare, so I'm taking 2 more of the black branches from that Temu wreath, and I'm just going to glue them down before I put the moss on. I thought the sides just looked empty, and then the moss will cover up the bottom of it. I do cut the wire part off, so now I'm going to take the dollar store moss, and I'm just going to hot glue it down and cover up the bottom of the trees there. And that worked pretty good. And then I'm just going to keep going and putting it on the outside and a little bit on the inside where the picket fence is. I thought before I put the rest of the moss on, I better put the tombstones in there so the moss isn't in my way. So what I'm doing is just taking a Sharpie and writing, tombstone words like rip and here lies less more and stuff like that. Then I'm putting some of the moss on the tombstones and I'm going to glue it to the back of the picket fence, or to the front of the picket fence on the back of the wreath. And there we have the tombstones. Just going to finish with the moss on the front. And then we have our other decorations that are just from the Dollar Tree, just some pumpkins, little skeleton, and we're just going to decide where they would best fit on here. And then I made the skeleton look like he's sitting down. And then I'm just going to take some pumpkins and I'm just going to put some hot glue on there and glue them down. And then I have those, we're going to just trim up the edges just to make it look a little neater. Oh, and then we're going to take some more of the moss and glue it to the pickets of the fence just to make it look spooky, as my husband would say. And clean that up. And then we have those cupcake picks with the bats on them, and I'm just going to break them off. Actually, they came out a little easier this time, and then where it still had the little brown from the stick, just take my Sharpie. We're going to glue them onto the wreath just randomly. Up in the trees. Sorry, I'm out of focus. I'm out of frame here a little bit. Pretty much. Now you can just decorate it however you want. I had some of these plastic spiders, so they were the ring spiders, so I cut the back of the ring off and glued them on. Then I took some of this batting and I really shredded it apart to make it look like wispy fog or clouds going through the trees. Hey, I put us back in the frame so you can see what I'm doing. And then I just put that all in the trees and that's it. Okay, I'm just a little extra, I guess. I thought it needed something else, so I have these Dollar Tree lights, the little mini fairy lights in the green, and I started just wrapping them into the top of the trees. What you don't see, because the camera died, is I also had purple ones, and I put them on the bottom. And here it is on the door with the lights. I changed the green lights to the bottom and the purple lights I put on the top because the lights that I got from the Dollar Tree weren't marked in any way, and I thought they were both the same color, but they were not. But there you go. There's our Halloween wreath for the door. I hope you guys like this one. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and share if you can. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween. Bye.